What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream here on a Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, so that I could reach some of my friends in Europe. What's going on? Here's one of them, Jomi, in the house. What's going on, Jomi? He is ready. We got Soccer FP in the house. B-Dubs in the house. What's going on, B-Dubs? Ajuami in the house. What's going on? So Saturday afternoon, after a historic week, right? The Bitcoin spot ETF approval looked like we had a fake out there on the eve of the approval with that, Twitter debacle, SEC official account getting hacked or compromised or whatever the wording Gensler used. But that's all in the rearview mirror now. It's old news, and the market moves on. And the market has moved on. There's been a bit of volatility this week. At first, we were approaching that $50,000 mark on Bitcoin. I think we hit 49K the day after. Since then, last couple of days, been volatility, which was expected, right? We all expected there to be volatility in, the weeks following this announcement, as we've had quite a nice run up. And a lot of people expected a massive sell the news event. It feels like it was a massive sell the news event if you look at your portfolio and you're holding many alts that dropped more than the 10% drop on Bitcoin. My portfolio was probably down a good 15% in one day. It's recovering a little right now, but this was all to be expected. So we're going to talk about volatility a little. We're going to talk about what comes next. We're going to talk about some altcoins that we've been talking about and just talk about the news around them and things like that. But let me know who's here. We got about 17 people so far in the first 2 minutes. Ethan's in the house. What's going on, Ethan? All eyes are shifting right now to the next catalyst, right? And that's the Bitcoin halving, which is just under 100 days. I think we're at I want to say 95 days until the halving. And so to me, all the, volatility to the downside, it's temporary. And we have catalysts in front of us. The market has things to look forward to. So I assume that there will be sell-offs along the way, but there's going to be that buying pressure because, of course, we have these things that we're all looking forward to. Good to see you too, Jomi. I like streaming at this time, 4 o'clock. I try to squeeze them in on days that I'm off from work on the weekend so that I can get different people in the chat. So good to see you too, Jomi. But we expected this, like I said. And if you can't stomach volatility, then you have to learn to stomach it if you're going to be around crypto, right? If the 10% drops, the 15, 20% drops on your alts or more bother you, then you have to get used to it, or else maybe crypto isn't for you, because that volatility is what we're here for. But we like the volatility to the upside, right? Their volatility works both ways. And when our coins are volatile to the upside and going up in these violent bursts, we love the volatility and we love crypto for it. When it starts dumping a bit and people get shaken out, then sometimes we don't like that volatility. But if you're going to be in the game, those that do best learn how to harness the energy of that volatility and take advantage of it, because there's money to be made off of it, right? Buying into precipitous drops to when you'll get your best prices when the trend is up and to the right long term, right? These drops are your opportunity to get prices that maybe you couldn't have a week or two ago. Not to say that things won't go further down. We're going to talk about historically what's happened in the market and prepare ourselves for what could happen, because I think that's really important. I condition myself. I look at my portfolio and I think about what would my portfolio look like if it took a 30 to 40% drop. And I envision it, and I do the numbers, and I anticipate it. And I use those bigger numbers, because then if we get a 15 to 20% drop, in my mind, that's not as bad. All right. And so you have to anticipate it and be aware of it. I personally don't, I said this last stream, I don't move in and out of position to try to, sell something to buy it back lower, just because that doesn't work for me, my personality, and my style. Others do that and they're successful. But for me, I need to come up with a set of rules for myself, and I am an accumulator. I hodl, and I am planning to DCA out. That's my strategy. I'm going to get to some charts in a second. Chris Severs in the house. What's good, Chris? Happy Saturday, brother. Josh bought the dip on Mcade and Masq. Masq is looking appetizing. I just looked at the chart. It's at 43 cents, which has acted as strong support. Let me pull it up. Here's Masq. This has been a strong level of support, in this most recent portion of the cycle. You see it kind of bounces off there. So 43 cents for Masq. It's a little up off at 44 cents now. These are good buy zones long-term, right? If the market does what we expect it to do. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. Here we are. Sorry. That's better. These are good buy zones, right? You see how it bounces off that 43 cents, and it's a strong level. And so we just accumulate. That's my plan. Yes, in Cock Inu we trust, Josh. Still holding my cock bag and waiting. Ethan says, Danny, what are all these games and projects partnering with Mcade every single day? What exactly does partnering mean? Yeah, so they are small games that are integrating into the Mcade ecosystem. That's what they are. I think they're up to about 60 of them. I haven't done like a deep dive on the specific games. I want to do that. I know that the Russ was on Ron's channel for an interview recently. But that's what that is. And Mcade is an ecosystem play in the gaming sector that I like. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Mcade in a little while. Pixel in the house. What's going on? Enjoy the rough seas. We're running out of time to DCA. Yeah, bear markets don't last forever is exactly right. When the long-term trend is up, these are the opportunities to buy. The Bitcoin halving is we're less than 100 days. So let's look at the rough seas that Pixel is talking about here. On the 7-day, that looks quite volatile and a big shakeout. But, if you zoom out, this is range bound for Bitcoin. And if you zoom out further, the trend is up and to the right. And so we've seen this story before. If you've been in crypto and if you've been in following Bitcoin, you've seen this story before. These dips come. Then consolidation comes and the trend continues. And right now the trend is up and the trend is your friend. And as long as the cycle plays out as expected, this short-term volatility means nothing but opportunity for those coins that you're accumulating. And again, I referenced this before. This is the 2016 to 2018 bull market. This is on the way up to new all-time highs. You see these precipitous drops. 38%, 38%, 33%, 38, 36, 29. Now, last cycle, the numbers weren't quite as high. There was the COVID one. That doesn't really count. I need to find a chart from last cycle, but they weren't as sharp. We did have a very big correction last cycle, I believe in the summer of 22. But otherwise, they were more in the 20-25% range, I believe. And if you look at this cycle, 2 cycles ago, to the cycle that we're currently in, these are the drops that we've had. We've already had a 20% drop, 3 20% drops. Here we are with a 15% drop. Now, historically, there have been 7 along the way. This is the 4th. And we'll see how far this one goes, right? It's not over yet. We could go down more. And as we go down more, you're going to get the bears coming out of hibernation calling for lower. And if you see the chart, I don't know if you can see it, but if I can zoom in, you're going to get the calls of people saying that it's over, right? Bears are going to come out of hibernation. They're going to say, I told you so. It's over. And they're going to call for even lower. So if we drop into the high 30s, anticipate it. I don't know that it's going to happen. I would say that there's a good chance that we see Bitcoin in the $30,000 range again before the halving. And that means that alts could dump harder. Anticipate it. So when it happens, you're mentally prepared and ready. But when it happens, rest assured that people are going to be calling for, if it goes to 38, they're going to call for 32. Then they're going to call for 28, 25, and they're going to call for sub 20. This is what happens. Okay. And so again, it's about preparing mentally and being okay with volatility, taking advantage of volatility, because this is an accumulation phase in the long run. Get back to this. Who's predicting big news with OMI, with Comey attending a crypto event later this month? I don't expect much on OMI this month. I think they'll mainly talk about VV there. I think that they're looking at growing their awareness of their VV platform. We'll see. But I wouldn't expect anything major on OMI in France to coming out of there. I would expect possibly a big partnership announced on the VV side of things, but we'll see. Just bought some OZK. Looks good. Yeah, OZK is something that people are talking about in the Telegram. I don't have any. It's something that does look good. I like the narrative. Let's pull it up. I think this is OZK. Yep. So this is a Bitcoin, something with Bitcoin, not scaling, maybe ordinals. But when I looked at it, it looked good. I liked it. Short, small market cap. I didn't buy any yet. Miro could be the first meme coin to hit that $1 mark that only meme coin holders only ever dreamed of. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Miro is looking very strong right now. It's having a moment. I'm holding my Cock Inu bag. I think that'll go to $1 billion market cap when things heat up again. Danny, these games on Mcade, are those exclusively on? It's a good question. I'm not sure. It's a good question. I can ask Russ. I think he's in the Telegram, so we'll see if we can get an answer on that. Hello from Korea. What's going on, buddy? Love your level-headed insights. Thank you for being here. Heard SBF and a bunch of VCs were suppressing the price of Bitcoin. No, I heard that Grayscale people were selling off from the Grayscale fund, is what I heard. The price of the token doesn't matter. It's all about market cap. That is correct. Danny, I'm so glad you got a hardware wallet. despite your many MetaMask accounts to avoid draining? Absolutely. Yeah, I've had a ledger. And last week I put a large portion of my portfolio in my ledger. I get kind of lazy about these things, and then I read stories and I get really scared. And so last week I put a whole bunch of things in my ledger. However, a couple things I'll say: when you put things in your ledger, put things that are long-term holds that you're not looking to sell anytime soon, because then I turned around and wanted to sell something and it was annoying. Also, make sure that you have ETH in your ledger for when you want to transfer out so you can do it quick. Otherwise, you have to go through a process of buying ETH or whatever, transferring it to the ledger, waiting for it to get there. And so you want things to be ready. But I am going to be putting more things on my ledger this weekend. And I have 10 different MetaMask accounts, 3 different Phantom accounts, and a Trust Wallet account, just to spread myself out. I don't connect my wallets to anything, and if I ever were to, it would be a burner wallet. Less drawbacks, in my opinion. I don't think Bitcoin will do that 75% during next bear, maybe a last. Yeah, I don't think so either. The game is evolving and changing, and if you see, we're a little ahead of schedule this time around. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. One, of course, is that Bitcoin ETF narrative. The other is that the asset class is just maturing, and you have more people here from previous cycles. So the way I look at it is, there's a bus and it's making stops every cycle. And in that first cycle, whatever, 2012, 2013, only a few people stayed on the bus at the end of that. Then it went to the 2017 cycle. So more people ended up staying on the bus. Then we got to the 2020 cycle, and I think that even more people ended up on that bus and were ready for this cycle, right? As each cycle progresses, more and more people become aware of how to play this game, how the cycle works. They're more educated, and they start front running things. And so I had people telling me, you had people like Benjamin Cowan, who's very, very smart, right? Super smart. He's been very successful with Bitcoin, ADA, Ethereum. You had people like him saying, don't buy alts. Don't buy alts. Bitcoin dominance. You had people saying, don't buy alts until after the halving. And if you had listened, you ran the risk of being sidelined, because it's going to get harder and harder to find good deals in the markets. And so this is where we're at. Expect more pullbacks, volatility, but the overall trend is up, and we are on pace for another explosive run. ICP has the best tech. Yeah. A lot of people like ICP. I haven't looked into it too much. It's done well on its second cycle early on. I don't think it'll go back to that all-time high. It was crazy at $500, right? But it doesn't have to do really well. So shout out to everyone who's been in ICP and has made money off it. Lots of use cases for OMI, with even monthly payments in OMI to keep features or tools plus accessories. Yeah. There are a bunch of opportunities there, right? That's not the problem. Has been execution for on the OMI side of things, right? I think everyone sees the vision and the use cases, just making it, if they were to make it the native asset of the VBverse and, the native token of buying accessories and all that stuff, tremendous capabilities. Events of keynotes or whatever events, but it's all speculation at this point. But we need positive speculation to come back in. That's going to happen with more deliverables at this point. That's what they need, I think. It's deliverables. Can we put Gfal, Mcade, and Masq on the ledger too? Yes, you can. I put my Mcade and Masq on my ledger. Gfal, I need to put on BNB chain. You can. What's up, MBE? Ethan, despite its recent launch, Mcade hasn't done well during the gaming surge, unlike other tokens. No, I'm not worried, and I'll explain. So here's why. And Ron had mentioned this, and he made a good point. So I'm just going to reiterate. Let's look at Mcade. So Mcade came out at about 2 cents. That's when its token release was at 2 cents, which wasn't at a micro cap. I mean, it was, it's a very small cap. Right now it's $21 million, but at that price, it's about $35 million market cap. And so it had a higher market cap than coins like Playable Games that was coming from a $1 billion market cap. Playable Games now is at a $35 million market cap, but it was at a $1 million market cap. And that's why you saw that explosive game out of Playable. If you look at Gfal, let's take a look at Games for a Living, because I'm not sure what that debuted at. A fraction of a penny. So I would say Games for a Living was sub $10 million market cap when it debuted. So Mcade debuted at a higher market cap, first off. And the timing of it coming out, people sold. And so it didn't catch that first run up, right? It didn't catch. If you zoom out, it spiked upon release. And then you had a lot of profit taking by people who got in early, right? The original token buyers. It's a relatively new token. And so it sold off. So it's getting that selling pressure. It's had nice movements, but pullbacks. But it's been range bound. That's what's going on with Mcade. It came out at a higher market cap, didn't get those parabolic moves, but the fundamentals are strong. The tokenomics are much stronger, I think, than some of the other tokens. It doesn't necessarily even have to get to $1 billion in valuation for it to do many, many multiples. And so I'm not worried about Mcade. It's got plenty of runway in front of it, plenty of time. We're early. And the other thing is we need to have patience, right? If you bought Mcade, you bought it within the last 8 weeks. The proper bull run hasn't started, and the overall gaming sector has cooled off, right? And again, let's take a look at Games for a Living. It's cooled off. It's been range bound. This is the last 3 months, so 90 days. Look at Myria, which I said last time was at a good DCA place, but it's down 50%. So I'm not worried about Mcade. In fact, I think that there are catalysts that'll make it, that have potential to make it move a lot. One of those being, Alex Becker talking about it, plugging it now that it's part of Neo Tokyo. And here's a bookmark. So a couple things. There was a new partnership this week, another new partnership with a gaming platform, social gaming platform, Dojami Academy. Aside from that, though, Russ says big things happening this week. So there are plenty of catalysts, plenty of runway ahead of Mcade. I'm not worried about it. Ben Cohen said he'll jump back into alts during the halving year. So maybe, after the halving, but he missed out on a lot. And this is the thing. If you have in your head that you only buy alts, if you have these strict rules based off previous cycles that you only buy alts after the halving, then you miss out on Solana at $8. You miss out on all these micro caps that many of us have gotten in on. Myria, Rio, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. Coins that I've already done a 7x on, 10x on. You miss out. And so you have to be open to different outcomes. Jordan Riz in the house. What's good, Jordan? Mcade is actually burning circulating supply at least. Yeah. And so I love this. I love the tokenomics of that. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thanks, JP. Appreciate that. Jordan also has Mcade. I don't know about XDB, so I'll have to look at it. Give Russ at Mcade a chance. They are only just getting started. Dan and David had 3 years. Correct. Here you go. Mcade AMA on the 18th. So that's only a few days away. 5 days away. This is the thing. It's Mcade's first cycle. Many of these coins, it's their first cycle. They're going to do well off of the market moving hype, the sectors, and, you know, all these things. They're the shiny new coins. I'm going to get into some news on some of them. Let's jump into some of my bookmarked tweets. Here's one. Here's Larry Fink talking about the ETFs. We know that the ETH ETF is next, and that final deadline is in May. But he also talked about the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond, talking about real estate, talking about tokenization of everything. This is an asset class that I have been mentioning for months, RWA. I think it's going to have a good run because when you talk about mainstream adoption, institutions getting in, it's a narrative that makes sense. When you talk about blockchain, eventually where it's going to end up, it's ending up here with the tokenization of everything. There's going to come a time once this technology matures and once there's more of an understanding of it, there's going to come a time when everything is tokenized, where stocks are tokenized. Things are settled immediately. All documents are NFTs. And so this RWA narrative is one that I want to be exposed to during this run. And one of the first coins that I bought at maybe definitely sub $10 million market cap was Rio. And that is Relio Network. This is Web3 ecosystem. It's like a metaverse thing, but also real estate. They're based out of New York. It's tokenization of real estate and real world assets. So I'm holding Rio. I think Rio is going to do well. There are people who ask about the RWA narrative. Let's pull it up on chart. It's at it's at a strong support level. It's up a lot. I bought it at 11 cents. The cheapest I bought it was 11 cents. There was FUD around it when they did a token migration. So now the market cap is this. It's hard to find the market cap. It's really $50 million, I want to say. So when you look at coin market cap, it'll tell you that Rio's market cap is like 7 million. It's not. It's more like 50 million. But this is in a sector that I think could get into a pretty decent valuation, right? Low billions. So this is one of them that I hold. Another is Mint Layer, which I've talked about a bunch of times. One of the things that drew me to Mint Layer was the Bitcoin scaling narrative, plus the Is it here? It's not here. It's also a real world asset play. Tokenization ecosystem. And so I think that's a sector worth exploring if you don't have exposure to it. And if you're looking to get exposure to different sectors. And that's kind of how I'm positioning myself is what are my gaming tokens? What's my real world asset play? What's my Bitcoin play? Layer ones, etc. Rio last cycle went to, I want to say $4. As soon as it came out, almost $5. It never got back there. Now, it's not a new token. It's a second cycle. But it went so low. It went to like a $1 million market cap. It went super low. And they weren't really ready to do anything last cycle. The market cap still only got to like a $300 million market cap. It didn't go super crazy. And so I like Rio. Let's jump back into the chat. Have you checked out Search? Serenity Shield just came out. No, I haven't. D-Storage, I think we'll do well too. We will be dumped as soon as it recovers, so I'm out. One of the problems with OMI is the selling pressure. It's going to take a lot to get through it, which means that they're going to have to, I think, run on. I think once the market really heats up, they need to run on all cylinders to eat through selling pressure. We're going to find out. I'm hoping that they deliver on the OMI side of things in the bull market, but we'll see. What would you put 500 into right now? There's so many coins, man. One that I like that I've been watching that I don't have is AI tech. So yeah, this has recently run up. Bunch of guys in Ron's Telegram bought it, but I did not. I missed it. This is what happens when I take off from crypto for a few days. Just because I want more exposure to AI. PAL AI is good. It depends on it depends on your portfolio and what you're looking for. I actually bought a little more TET down at the low 30s, which is a little crazy. People are scared, but because I bought TET, I went very hard, as you know, in the $9 to $10 range. And I went very hard, and it did very well. But I didn't hit my target. I had a certain amount of TET that I wanted when it was here. And so I needed to finish that off. So Tectum is another one. It's run up a lot. And so, look, could pull back into the 20s. I don't know. Long term, I can see Tectum going to hundreds of dollars, perhaps even $1,000. It's not out of the question. If you're looking for something smaller cap, Mcade is good. There are a lot of good things out there. Games for a Living's at a good price right now. I'd put money into that. But if you look at, here's Ron from Crypto Banter doing a whole breakdown of the soft notes on Tectum, which is their proprietary technology to help make Bitcoin transactions easier and anonymous. So this is a paid partnership, I'm 90% sure, but it's the exposure. Tectum's now approaching a $200 million market cap. I can see it in the billions. So for me, I said it's crazy to buy it now because people say, is it too late to get into Tectum? I don't know what the future holds, right? It's easier to tell in hindsight. Ask me a year from now, and I'll give you an answer. Yes, it was a great time, or no. But if it goes up to, $700, then it's like buying, when Solana was $8, I bought Solana. I bought it at $10, $13. Went up to $25. I still bought it. Now I don't regret it. Right? There were times, though, after I bought it at 25 that it dropped back to $18, which was like a 33% cut. So it's all relative. But there are a lot of coins, man, out there. I got a super chat. Let me get to it. Thanks, B-dubs. Appreciate the super. What's the most reliable place to confirm a coin's market cap? It's not Coin Market Cap. I usually go to CoinGecko. I want to say if crypto, I've never used crypto ranks. Where is it? Crypto rank. So people reference crypto rank. Let's look up some and see. Mint layer. It says that mint layer is at 126 million. And if you look at Coin Market Cap, I think it'll say that mint layer is at like 40 million. When I checked, let's do a look at mint layers circulating supply here. I think we're like here. I would say it's about 100 million looking at this, because we're at about 75 cents and it's almost at a 200 million tokens released. So it looks like crypto ranks might be right. So try there. Coin Market Cap is, to me, has been the least reliable. I usually go to CoinGecko, but crypto ranks looks like a good one too. Thanks for the super. Let me jump back up. Sandals Nation in the house. A lot of these tokens you got to store them and forget about. Yeah, you're mainly to sell them short term and miss out. Yeah, and that's my plan. Is I accumulate and I hold, and I set profit taking. I set profit taking levels along the way, and then I will scale out. And depending on where we are in the market, I'm going to scale into other smaller market cap things and ride them up, right? So when my plan for Solana, I'll use that as because everyone's familiar with it, is I took a little out, maybe 15% of my holdings. I'm going to take more SOL out either at $130 or $180, because between there, I'll take more out. I'll scale out more at 200 and just incrementally scale out, because as it goes higher, it's going to have less juice in it and I can get more out of some smaller alts. Winter Bear in the house. What's good? If they brought back OMI to Gem, I'd be happy. Yeah, really any utility for OMI would be dope. OMI to Gem, OMI to NFT, the real utility would be dope. RWA stands for real world assets. So it's basically the tokenization of real world assets. It's the idea that everything will be tokenized in order to make transactions lightning speed and quick settlement for cheaper. So think about why it makes sense. Think about the stock market. If you sold, when I sell a stock, that money takes 48 hours to clear, right? Before I can cash it out to my bank. It takes 48 hours to clear, and you pay fees. And so tokenization of everything makes everything instant. There's no one brokering it. There's no middleman in between the deal because it's all on blockchain. And now if you get that, move that into, real estate and just, layer that out, it's going to be, I don't think that the technology is anywhere close, but the narrative will run hot. And that's what matters. It's like last cycle, the metaverse narrative ran hot. We were nowhere near the metaverse last cycle. We were at the beginning of it, right? The foundation blocks are being built. The metaverse is still not fleshed out. You got pieces of it. But the narrative front runs the technology. And so that's why I think we'll see more and more of that RWA narrative. Could you explain the burning mechanism of Mcade? Nobody seems to know exactly how they are going to burn the token. You know what? I looked at it, and I've done so much research that I forget, to be quite honest. And I would have to go back and research it again. Let me see if there's anything quick here. The tokenomics. I'm just trying to do it really, really quick. I would think that as rewards, when they dish out rewards, maybe portions of it get burnt or something. I don't remember. I wouldn't expect them to burn through a bunch of Mcade this cycle. It's more of like the narrative of it, right? And, long term. But I wouldn't expect 30% of the token's going to get burnt. So I don't even calculate the burning pressure on the token price when I think about it long term. I think about it more in terms of narrative, and the fact that it's not heavily inflationary. It's not inflationary at all, unlike the majority of other gaming tokens. The world is definitely going to be tokenized, 100%. Nice bag of Rio. I think Rio's next leg up, it'll clear $1. So, $50 million market cap. There are other real world asset coins out there. Nexera, I think, is another one. Here it is, Alliance Block. I think this is a $100 million market cap. But, I expect them to run together. So I'm happy with Rio. There are plenty others. We just need to remember to sell next bull run. Yeah. Have to sell. Got to make your plan, and you need to take profit because the market has a way of dumping on you. Do you think we will see a recession this year? Henrik Zeberg from Crypto Banter says we will likely see a massive recession. I think it's possible that we see a recession this year. And I don't think we'll see a massive recession, but if we have one, I think it would be like shallow to mid. I don't think a massive recession. I think the economy's been strong. If you look at the jobs numbers, they haven't dropped precipitously. I think that if anything, and I could be wrong, obviously, and anything could happen. There are a lot of factors is a thing, right? You've got the war going on. I talked last week about supply chains because of the Houthi rebels in the Red Sea, and 15 to 20% of shipping goes through the Red Sea, and how that could put pressure on inflation. I don't know. It's something to watch out for. It's also a reason to take profits. If I have some thoughts on the overall market, one of my thoughts is we're going to run hotter earlier. Bitcoin could, if you look at, historically, it's taken, I want to say 10 months after having to break all-time highs for Bitcoin. I think it does it sooner this time. I think it's going to be front run. I think the ETF helps with that. I think just the whole nature of the evolution of the asset class helps with that. So I think Bitcoin breaks through all-time high a little sooner. And then alts go crazier a little sooner. And if that happens, if there's uncertainty in the world, I'll be taking some profits a little sooner. But we will see, and we're going to watch it. But keep that in the back of your mind. And that's another thing. Prepare. Don't go putting mortgage money into crypto. Don't go into debt for crypto, because you can't control the macro and you could get blindsided. So whatever you put in, make sure it's cliche, but you're willing to lose it. Buddy AI is looking primed to rip soon. Yes. Have another look at it, Danny. Yep. Ron posted the report on it. The problem is I'm out of dry powder. So let's look up Buddy. I did buy Pal AI. This is not, I hate these charts. Oh, this is a new coin. It's less than a month old. So it's hard to get a good read on it. Yeah, I would not be shocked. It's hard to catch them all, and there have been plenty that I've missed. I missed AI Tech, the early run. I caught Pal AI. The problem is, don't have enough dry powder to buy everything. Monday is when Buddy AI is releasing the white paper. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Tectum has only 10 million circulating supply, so we're still very early on that one for 25. So are you referring to Tectum? Yeah, 10 million is the total circulating supply, and I think we're over 50%. Tectum has more than 50%, so it'll see a little less dilution than Mint Layer. We're very early on Tectum, I agree. It seems like we missed these things, but we're still very early. So the way I would equate it in a way that's understandable is that if Tectum does what it's supposed to do, it's like buying Solana really in the teens, because the ceiling is going to be higher, right? Because it's only 10 million in circulating supply. So at a $10 billion market cap, it could go to $1,400 if it got there. If it got to a $5 billion market cap, which I think is a base case for what it is, and it could happen, that would be a $700 Tectum, which is more than a 20x right now. So we need to it's important to keep that long-term time frame in perspective. If you look at, I've done this, I've shown before. Let's look at something that we're all probably familiar with, Mana. If you bought Mana down here, which is super early, right? We're like, let's say 3 months ago, we're super early, and it went here. That was 22 cents. Here was 2 cents. That's a 10x. It did a 10x, and you feel like you missed it. But look at the chart to the right. And that's what's important to remember, is that we can't see the chart to the right because it hasn't happened yet. And so on these small time frames at this stage in the cycle, it feels like we're here and we missed it. But we are really, if the cycle repeats, we're really here. And you missed the first 10x. Important to remember that winners will keep on winning. And so if you identify the winners early, even if you miss, and we all want to catch that 1000x gain, but even if you miss it, I have no problem paying a little more. The thing is, then I have more conviction in it sometimes, and I can allocate more, right? So if I'm buying something at a very small market cap, I might only throw a few $100s at it because I don't have the conviction, right? The market has not given me the conviction, or it's not confirmed it. And so keep it in mind. It's okay to dollar cost average into things that you like and that you think are going to win, even though they've run up and they're more expensive than they were 2 months ago, because the chart to the right will unfold and they will do many, many more multiples. Russ says, you patient hodler, Ron's Crypto and Crypto Eddie have all researched Mcade and all think it's a good investment. Yeah, there's nothing that I see about it that makes me think that it's not. Right? So time's going to tell. You are welcome, buddy. We should all do different daily affirmations during the bull run. I will sell some. Yes, I will sell some crypto for profit. Pay yourself, right? Take profit and make sure that you extract money from the market, or else you're going to get dumped on. It's going to get harder and harder. I said that, as it runs up, that euphoria kicks in. The animal spirits, you get filled with the animal spirits and you think you're going higher and higher. And the thing is that people are going to call for higher and higher. So if something gets to a $5 billion market cap, people are going to call for 10, 15, 20. They're going to call for a super cycle, institutional money, all these things, and they're going to keep on raising the ceiling and moving the goalposts. So be ready. Jordan got Rio and Buddy AI. Good stuff. Mcade burning. I would suggest Ron Crypto's Therapy interview Russ. He talked about burning on that. Yeah, I got to go back and I watched half of that. Yeah, Jordan and I are in a lot of the same stuff. My objective is to kill my mortgage this bull run. Yeah, and I've thought about that, but I'm not going to pay my mortgage because I've got a 2.75 interest rate, and that's like free money. So I thought about that. My first thought was I'm going to pay my mortgage, but now I'm thinking I'm not going to pay my mortgage. I can put that money somewhere safe and earn more than that interest. Just right. So, but I am going to pay some things off. If we get the ETH ETF, and that's going to be interesting. The ETH ETF final decision is in May. Expect a good run for ETH, right? We saw the beginning of ETH running. You can expect ETH to run prior to May. Now, is it going to get approved? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. On the one hand, there's already a futures Ethereum ETF. And there's been that court ruling on Bitcoin that forced their hand. On the other, if you looked at the vote on Bitcoin, it was 3-2. And Gensler was actually the deciding vote. 2 Republicans voted yes. 2 Democrats voted no. Gensler voted yes because his hand was forced politically. He then came out and spoke negatively of Bitcoin and crypto, etc. So I would assume that there's going to be a lot of political wrangling behind the scenes with the Ethereum ETF, and that Gensler will not want to approve it. So it's going to be interesting to watch. See you, Chris. Have a good weekend. Do you consider the buyback mechanism for Mcade as a security? I mean, I'm not really concerned about it because I think that they're not trading on any American exchanges, to my knowledge. And so I'm not worried about it. And I don't think that there will be any, unless there's some, regulation by enforcement, like some crazy regulation coming from the government, from the Biden administration. They move slow and they've taken losses. I think that we'll be out of this cycle by the time there is that real regulatory threat. So it doesn't enter my mind, to be honest. There are thousands of coins out there. I bought Mana at 12 cents, but sold at $1.67. Didn't know Facebook would change right. Missed out on more gains. But at least you got gains because so many people held all the way down. So if you sold at $1.50 and it topped out at $4 or $5, it's all good. As long as you got gains, profit is profit. And you have to be okay. You have to make rules for yourself when you're selling, right? So that is when you're going to sell, what you're going to do after you sell. You're going to move it into something else. You're going to take money out. And then psychologically, you have to move on, right? Not be okay. You have to be okay with the price continuing to go up. And maybe leave a moon bag there so that you can have a piece of it as it goes up. But you have to be okay with it. Otherwise, it's going to make you gun shy. It's just a part of building good habits, right? How do you determine your price points for taking profits? So first I would say is I determine where I think it's going to go. So let's look at one of the charts I made. All right, TET's the first one up. I'm going to come up with I'm going to watch it as the space progresses. I'm going to watch TET and its performance. If it looks strong, my base case is 5 billion market cap. And I think it could get to a $10 billion market cap. So if I think that it's definitely going to a $5 billion market cap, I'm going to start layering out before that, probably in the $2 billion range, which would be a little less than a 10x from where we're at, $280. And I would take a portion out, a percentage, 10%, 20%, whatever. And then as we got closer to 5 billion, maybe at 4 billion, I would take another 10 to 20%. Maybe I'd take more out of 5%, and I would let a portion of the bag ride to here if I think it's going there. Maybe it goes higher. Maybe it doesn't get there. I don't know. That's the point, though. I don't know. We don't know. And so DCAing out of your main bags, the same way you DCA in, is, I think, an effective strategy. And leaving, if you have, if I think that TET could go to even higher than 10 billion, because it's a layer one. And maybe it goes to a $20 billion market cap. That's not unheard of. Seems crazy to think about it, but that's not unheard of. Especially when you project the market caps of the next cycle. If it were to become a top 20 coin, could I see it become a top 20 coin? Yes. And I think all the top 20 coins will have 20 billion plus market caps next cycle. If you look at Bitcoin Cash, was the 20th ranked coin at the height of the last cycle and had a $12 billion valuation. Next cycle, the asset class is going to evolve, right? We're going to go from, where is it? Can't find it. But we're going to go from a $3 trillion asset class to possibly 6 to 10 trillion. I think 6 is a conservative estimation of where we could go, which means that the top 20 are going to be more bloated. The 20th coin will likely have a $25 billion market cap. So could TET be a top 30 coin and still have a $20 billion market cap? I think it's possible. We're going to find out. If it did, crazy as it seems, that would put it at over $2,000. We're going to find out. I don't know the answer. You can't know until we have hindsight, right? But look at something like Aave was hot last cycle. What did that get to? $600. What was the market cap on that? It was up there. Aave was like a top 30 coin. Look at like Illuvium. What's the ticker? Here it is. Got to $1,400. I forget what the market cap was on it. So those prices seem crazy, right? It went from like the 30s to 40s, but it's not about the price, it's about the market cap. And so looking ahead, I think it's possible that TET commands a big market cap. We will see how it plays out. What's good, Cairo in the house? I think the ETF for ETH will be good timing for the bull run. It's amazing timing. May. So the market has things to look forward to. So even if things sell off, it's fine. If things sell off. If Bitcoin were to go down more right now, it's okay. Because everyone knows what's coming. It's the halving. It's now about 12 weeks away. The closer we get, the more anticipation will build. So think about it. In 2 months, the halving will be like 4 weeks away. It's going to be a crazy anticipation. It's a catalyst. It's going to be mainstream is going to be talking about it. Pay attention to what now you have the biggest institutions of the world selling Bitcoin. They're like salesmen for it. They're trying to sell it to their customers. And this is something that BlackRock put together for their customers. It's a chart comparing BlackRock and Bitcoin's yearly returns compared to every other asset class. Bitcoin performance compared to major asset classes. It says Bitcoin has had periods of high performance and significant drawdowns 2013 to 2023. 2013, 55,500% increase on Bitcoin, best performing asset. S&P or SPX, right? That's the S&P, I'm assuming. 26%. 2014, Bitcoin's down here, negative 58%. But look at 2015, 2016, 2017. Best performer in the market, Bitcoin crushes them all. 2018, okay, that's the bear year. This is the cycle. 2019, best performing. 2020, best performing. 2021, best performing. All right, 2022, it dumps. The story continues. 2023, last year, again. What's going to happen in 2024? Likely, history will repeat itself. Bitcoin will sit atop. Pay attention to, right, some diminishing returns on Bitcoin. That's natural. But look at the annualized. Look at the cumulative is 315,000% increase on Bitcoin. That's crazy. 18% on gold. I don't know who still buys gold. Annualized 124%, even with those huge drawdowns, an annual return of 124%. Look at gold. And so you've got now, this is why people overestimate the impact of the ETF, the short-term impact. But the long-term impact, they downplay. Right? We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy to think that they are now selling this product of Bitcoin, pumping our bags, and we're going to dump on them. Because eventually it's going to stabilize, right? This is what's going to happen. It's going to stabilize. You see the diminishing returns already. There's going to be less volatility to the upside and the downside. And so we are lucky. In my opinion, I'm lucky to be here in this place and time to take advantage of this alt season that we have in front of us, because I don't know how many more we're going to get, considering the fact that the asset class is going to be a little more normalized. Couple that with regulation, and who knows what the space is going to look like in 4 years. And so I want to take advantage of this cycle. Right? But if you look, zoom out, this is where this is going, right? Bitcoin having a percentage share of our retirement funds. Bitcoin being adopted by more countries, right? El Salvador was the narrative last cycle. I'm sure you're going to see Argentina, maybe Brazil, some other countries. This is the narrative. And this is the reality of it. And the alts are going to go crazy, right? So hopefully we stave off that recession. And hopefully the macro holds up. And we all make a lot of money. But the important thing is to sell. Does Buddy show up as a zero balance in your wallet? I don't have it. Can't even track Buddy. Yep, that's what happens to all these new coins. Yep. Matt G, good luck to you, Dan. Mana market cap chart moved in line with OMI whole time. Yep. All the charts look the same. I said this in a previous stream. If you look at, this is Mana. They all look very similar. Here's, whoops. Nope, that's not it. Why isn't this working? Wait, sand. Look at sand. They all have these parabolic run-ups and then dumps. Even something like Aave that's not even, well, this is a little better. Is this the right? Massive run-ups and dumps. So the idea is to sell, right? That's the only way. Yeah, Goldfinch is a RWA token. What's up, all chat? Goldfinch, I've looked at. I'm not sure if it was you who brought it to my attention, but someone did. Here's the yearly. $80 million market cap. And I believe Goldfinch is RWA sector. Or is it DeFi? Yeah, RWA, DeFi, lending, borrowing. So many good tokens out there. And I hope you all get rich. I don't watch Crypto Eddie. Nice. Mcade could be, that's the reason why I like Mcade. Again, and I've said it so many times, it could conceivably, I don't know if it will. So I said Mcade. I don't know about a 500X. Is this the right? I don't know if this is my right chart. Hold up. I don't know about a 500X, but a 200X would put it at about a $4 billion market cap. Yeah, 400X would put it at an $8 billion market cap. I don't know. That's a stretch, I think, but tokenomics wise, it's got the ability to move. And then even if it doesn't, a conservative $500 million market cap at a 20X, because not everything is getting there, right? Not everything's going to get into the billions. They're not all. And that's why I spread myself out a bit. And I don't need to be right on all of them. If I'm right on TET, I don't need to be right on Mcade. we will see how it plays out. Illuvium didn't have that many tokens out. Correct. So, yeah. And it's something to consider. But it shows you, I brought up Illuvium because we think about big numbers like, you know, a $1,400 TET token. And that seems like it's out of this world, but it's not. And then we think that other tokens can get to bigger numbers, right? Like people bring up Gfal. I love Games for a Living. It's one of my top 10 holdings. I think it's going to do well. I'm going to bring out some news about Gfal in a second. But people talk about it. I think it's like Crypto Archie, who has like 50,000 followers. He talks about it doing 100x from here, neglecting the inflationary nature of the coin. Every month, I think 2% of Gfal is pumped into the system. And so it's the market cap is going to get bloated naturally. It's going to lead to sell pressure, or just going to lead to the valuation changing. And so, I mean, could it get to a 32x? A 60x would be a $16 billion market cap. I guess that's possible if the whole asset class goes to like, you know, a $9 trillion valuation. But 100x, I don't think so. So that's why it's important to understand market cap, circulating supply, and project it out so that you can have a realistic understanding of where the token can go, because then you can make your sell plan. One, you can put into perspective of this token versus another token, right? What's a better value? Two is you can make your plan to DCA out. It's important. Back to Gfal. They just released their roadmap for 2024. And it's here. So if you're in Games for a Living, if you like it, Q1, they're going to have some progression on their game Elemental Raiders. They're going to have the first playable version of Diamond Dreams, another game, the first playable version of Jump Pump, and they're going to reveal a new game. All right, that's Q1. They're going to open up their marketplace for collectibles and social features. So their NFTs and all that. I'm assuming in-game assets. Q2, these games move into alpha. There'll be a Gfal launcher, which I guess that's for other games to enter the ecosystem. Q3, they're introducing a new game, full release of Soccer Legends. And so this is the beauty of a new coin. When I talk about new coins, they can afford to push things back, because let's say they miss this Q3, Q4 deadline. I'm going to be sold out of it by Q1 2025 now, right? But if they never hit that, then like this is where like when I talk about OMI versus an older coin versus something like Games for a Living. Games for a Living only has optimism right now and milestones ahead of it. And if they fail to deliver, the cycle's going to end. And if you sold, you were happy. If you bag hold and they fail to deliver any of this, you're angry. But it's why I like new coins, because it's a fresh slate. But Games for a Living has a lot going on. And I think it could be a blue chipper in that gaming sector. So I think Jomi asked down here, this relates, which token? So this is cheaper than that. This is probably like a $57 million market cap right now. Between 100 million to 400. I like, not off my head, I like Naka very much. I think that's like 120 million right now. Here's Nakamoto Games. A ton of partnerships here. Integration into Telegram is big. It gives exposure to all those Telegram users. They're coming out with Naka wallet as part of that integration. Play to earn, tournaments, they get engagement. They had something with some partnership in Saudi Arabia. Just the narratives alone, I'm talking about. So Naka at $120 million market cap, I like. That's one. TET again is at $180 million market cap. Those are the two that I'm focused on. There are plenty more. Let's jump back up. Thoughts on Game GPT? This coin hits narratives. I've heard of it, but I haven't done a deep dive. Yeah. So I need to look at it more. We will see. The thing about the gaming thing is there are going to be so many gaming coins, right? It's going to be so oversaturated. It's harder to determine winners. That's why I like ecosystems, because if you have an ecosystem, there could be a winner spring out from the, if I'm betting on one game, like, what was that? Mega Weapon. That's one game. And if that takes off, great. But if that game doesn't, the ecosystems are different. Miria, Gfal, Mcade, Naka. I like ecosystems. The gaming system is cooled off. It's a good time to accumulate. Keep in mind, where is it? I had an article. Is it here? Where we're at in the development of gaming, Web3 gaming. I believe the total asset class right now, if you put all of the gaming tokens together, let's do that. I want to say they're at like a $15, $17 billion, maybe $20 billion here, $20 billion. All gaming, GameFi, 20 billion. That's less than Solana. We're very, very early. So a lot of these things are going to pump and go up. You're going to see single coins in that range. And, I don't know if this is hyperbole, but 614 billion by 2030. I'm not really concerned by 2030. I'm concerned by 2025. I think that whole asset class is going to explode this cycle. And so it's good. But I wouldn't only have exposure to GameFi, right? I have my RWA play. I have Masq. That's my privacy play. I have my Bitcoin scaling solutions. And so a little exposure in different sectors, because the sectors run at different times. And so it's good to have that exposure. And then also, if one sector underperforms your expectation, you're not overly allocated there, right? I think it's important. Adam, I got a good bag of Illuvium. I think Illuvium will do well. They seem to have a dope game. They built throughout. So good luck, brother. MNDE did well. I placed my bets on anything Solana this cycle. Yeah, Sol is going to, it's quiet again. Now Solana is quiet. It's going to rip again. I'm not buying Sol at this price because I bought it super cheap. But things get hot and cool off. And that's the nature of this whole space. If you took this fractal of Solana, and I have it somewhere, but It looks exactly like ETH's first cycle. And then ETH went on to put in crazy new highs past that. So it's going to be interesting to see what this Solana chart looks like. But I'm thinking a conservative price for Solana, I think $400 is reasonable. We will see. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset the last 13 years. Yep. You'd be a fool in TradeFi not to be invested. But it's crazy that they're still not invested. I just met with my cousin's husband. I went to a family event last weekend, and my cousin's husband is very, very successful. He's in the financial, like he's like he invests for financial institutions, something like this. He's very, very successful. I asked him his take on crypto, and he said that he missed the opportunity, right? He said that he missed out on it. He missed out on money, but he's still not allocated. It goes to show you how early we are, that you've got these super successful people, and they're still not allocated. They've seen what it's done. Over time, that changes. And over time, people age out of those positions, and younger people who understand it move in. And that changes the whole dynamic of, investing. You're going to have people who are crypto literate and crypto native entering positions of power within the financial institutions, and it's going to change the landscape. We're going to see what happens with regulation, but it's going to be very fascinating and interesting to watch how this thing plays out. We're all early to an asset class. It's hard to understand how it's like being around for like the advent of the stock market, except it would take like 30 years to the money to flow in. The crypto space has these parabolic runs where you make these crazy gains in 2 years. More money equals more stable for retirement products. Yep. There's so many tokens to invest in that you don't want to over diversify. This is also a thing. You can't catch them all. Yes. I 100% agree. You can't catch them all, and you have to be okay with that. I'm perfectly fine when I see some of my friends telling me they bought AI tech and it did a 5x. Or they're buying Buddy AI and it's going to do a 4x. I know some of these things are going to pop off. I'm fine with that. I didn't catch them, but I caught TET, or I caught, something else. You don't need to catch them all. And that's where that FOMO kicks in, and that wanting to chase things. It's okay. You can just chill out. You don't need to catch them all. You just need to catch a few. And over diversifying. So the way I do it is I've got my Solana bag, which is my biggest bag because it's gotten, it went up. TET is now my second biggest bag because I went hard at it and it tripled quickly. And then after that, I've got about 8 bags that are very comparable to each other. Those are the ones that I am, liking the most right now. I just have a good feel for them. I like them. And I'm sure there will be many that outperform them, but that's fine. And then I have some smaller bags. The real deal in the house, as he stands with OMI to the end. I think OMI will have its day. Let's check in. OMI was beaten. There was so much FUD on OMI last week. I kind of contributed by tweeting out. Sorry, something frustrating. You get frustrated with. Look at this. OMI dipped back into the 0005 range, and that's it sucks to see because things have been up. I think OMI will have its day, first of all. So, it's not going to be at this range forever. I think it'll have its day. The question is how well it performs against other coins, right? So I think it can do a good 10x quite easily. The question is, does it do that 50x? That's not so easy. So that's the question for me around OMI. In regards to, last week I tweeted about the community deserving a win because I see so many people who've put a lot of money into OMI who have held it through the bear market with expectation of certain things being delivered. And now it's Q1 2024. I think the team should have done a better job getting some things out because this could have been, you anticipate this, right? You know that the bull run is coming. You know that the market's going to heat up, and you know that the frustration is going to mount. Two, if you hit in line with the run, you're going to garner attention for yourself. That will lead in the flow into VV. So as of now, it's been a missed opportunity. There's still time. The closer you get to having without real OMI deliverables, the more anxiety will be ratcheted up and the more FUD you'll see on Twitter regarding OMI. But, there's still time and OMI will have its day. Illuvium, only 7.8 million coins. Yeah, so it can do really big numbers there. I'm not very familiar with Illuvium, aside from I knew, people into it last cycle. Which token? I already answered this, Jomi. Well, Gfal is founded by the first CEO. Yes. 100%. That's why I bought games for a living. Because that narrative of not only the guy from EA, but the guy from Barcelona, King. Is it King Barcelona or just King? This guy, Manel Sort. He was vice president at King, which is the biggest mobile gaming game producer, right? They made Candy Crush and some others. So that alone with this guy, Trip Hawkins, I don't know how involved he is, but I know that he founded EA Sports. That's crazy. So that gives him instant credibility in a space, this crypto space that often lacks credibility, right? Where they're a dime, some games are a dime, tokens are a dime a dozen. There are many times where you have to question if you're going to get rugged. Who are these founders? Are they doxxed? And so I immediately recognized games for a living. It resonated with me based on the team. And I started buying, and I've accumulated, and I'll still accumulate. If I had dry powder right now, I'd be buying games for a living. I'm just paying off my Christmas bills, man. So it is what it is. After altcoin season run, do you think NFT narrative will run? And what's your view of VV digital collectibles in the NFT space? Would you sell your VV collectibles in NFT season? So I think that NFTs will have a run again. I don't know if it'll be the same type of profile pics and, pictures and whatever, pictures of animals that we had last run. I would assume it's going to evolve a little. I think that VV is well positioned with their IP. And I think that if they can keep their community strong. And here's the thing. I was talking to someone in my Telegram, my channel membership Telegram, right before I got on. And he mentioned apathy. And he doesn't even go look at the drops anymore because he's become apathetic. I think that they run a risk of the longer things take, people moving elsewhere and having opportunities elsewhere, getting disengaged to become apathetic. And that's worse than, angry, because at least angry, you care. So as long as they engage, keep the community engaged and enough members engaged, keep that core group, I think that VV Grails can do well. I think that people in the community invested in crypto will make a lot of money. And some of that money, even though there's no crypto pain, could find its way into VV collectibles. And then you'll start seeing headlines, etc. And then FOMO kicks in. So I can see VV doing okay. But I don't buy VV collectibles for investment. Not now during crypto, an alt run. I don't. And I sold pretty much all my VV stuff when Bitcoin was $18,000. I sold my VV stuff. I put it into Bitcoin. I've since bought back some stuff. I'm not looking to sell them because it's not like I have a crazy collection. My vault might be worth a few $1,000s, something crazy. And if and when we get VVverse, I would like to be in there and interact with people in there. But if I was like overly allocated in VV, then I would consider, selling some stuff. If that's my intention, right? If I'm just collecting, I don't care. But if my plan is about money, yeah. Beam is good. I like Beam. I think Beam will do well. I don't hold it. I think it'll do very well. It's an ecosystem, gaming ecosystem. I think it's going to do very well. $1 billion market cap. I can see it getting past 10 billion. Yep. A VVverse with a lot of use cases for OMI could drive it up a lot. Yes. I wouldn't underestimate what we do know about the VVverse. Looks like a Roblox sandbox type metaverse in the making. So I think that VVverse is going to take a long time before it's anything like Roblox. I think early on, it's more like a building in there and interaction, which I think is fine. Eventually, they can get to gaming. They can produce mini games. But at the glacial pace that they move, I would think that's going to take a long time. My only concern with OMI and the VVverse is they've backtracked on it. They're afraid to use OMI because of security laws. So I asked David on Around the Ecomiverse about OMI's use case, and he defaulted to they have to wait to get regulatory clarity. And so that's my concern there, is that they won't properly leverage OMI for VV. I think that's why I was so bullish. And that's why I think, that's the bull case scenario for OMI, is it becomes the native token of the VVverse. But they need to execute on that. And we'll see if they are not too afraid to execute on that. Would be cool if we'd have a new NFT cycle. Yeah. So the way it ran last time was NFTs ran last. And VV ran in January, right? I think Bitcoin topped out in November. So they're going to run. People are going to buy pictures of rocks, ETH rock, right? They're going to do well, I'm sure. But I don't really mess around in that space. Adam agrees. NFTs will run. Been on for an hour and a half. Make sure that you hit the like button. I'm going to see what else I got bookmarked to talk about, because I tend to go on tangents. Here's one. I love charts that put things in perspective. And here's one on altcoins to show you where we are relative to last cycle. Right, so 2018, 2021 cycle, you had, look on the bottom, little bit of a sell-off. These are monthly candles. Two small red candles before things went wild. Here we are in the 2022 to 2025 cycle. Maybe we'll get a red month or two, but then you know what's coming. Right? If history repeats, things go wild, up and to the right. And so you just prepare yourself, create your rules, think about how you're going to, I guess, position yourself portfolio-wise, what you want access to. Create your rules psychologically. Stick to them. Don't worry about things running that you're not in. Focus on the coins that you have. And there will always be opportunities because many coins, I think it was Sandbox, wasn't even out yet. Many coins are going to debut during the bull market. So many of the biggest winners haven't even been born yet. So stay plugged in and engaged in the space and develop good habits and a good mind frame. My wife is still going for the Betty Boop. I saw the Betty Boop was priced at like $20, which is very good. So that's a good price. But my voice is getting hoarse over here. I want to thank you all for coming through, spending a couple hours with me here on a Saturday. Thank you all for coming through. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Maybe I'll jump back on Monday. I am off from work. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.